Yeah, you got to remember, folks, my opinion has no value, right? You shouldn't listen to my feedback or ask for it. I've only got 30 subscribers for the last few months on YouTube, and I'm not even sure they exist or they're really there or they pay attention to me. But anyways, I'll see if the phone screws up again here because it starts with one of the memories first, the internal one, and if there's a little bit of space on it, and then it cuts the video instead of just, not cutting it and just saving it on the space that I made on the other external storage device. Sony is not what it used to be. So, what? I think you're weird as a species, when there might be like 100,000 people that need help and that COVID is still a factor in some way. Is it because they have an almost perfect record of somehow keeping the virus that is part of the natural world off the island, and somehow these boundaries of nations exist for you guys, that people are in dire need, and you're like, do you think maybe 100,000 people will die of the virus if you go help them? Like, what is this nonsense? It's weird. And can you talk about this volcano more, which, even though you can't see the island of it much anymore, there's a lot of stuff going on in that region geologically. And I believe that before the end of January, there could be some more issues. But even if there isn't, with sea rise on an island where they couldn't even have elevation to get away from, things like this in that area, this is the time in history where you're going to see yourselves in the mirror as a species again, right? Because as I said in a song from more than a year ago, is that who do you really want to be, like, when you grew up as a species? Because you haven't yet. This is an important historical part. Now the volcano is great news around the world, so everybody knows about it, and now you're screwed. Now you're screwed because there's 100,000 people that really should be relocated. That's a super small amount of people for all of the boats and machines and resources and the billionaires getting richer and all this stuff. This should be taken care of in a week. But again, you are you. You're not who you think you are. You're really you, the people primates, the Homo communia. So this is an example that you didn't even get to see in COP26, where there's more than 100,000 people that should have been talked about that are affected by sea rise. So they should get out of there. A lot of the people, they should be out of there before the next 5 years. I really don't recommend. And again, you're not showing the right data about the Antarctic west ice sheet that is going to go within a couple of years. So again, people that are not covering the right news are killing 100,000 people right now. And there are also governments who don't want to put it out there, but this is a time in history where you could shine as a species or prove that you are who, again, I've been saying you are as a species. And that don't want to admit that, and that don't want to change that. Even though changing that is a question of 180 degrees in your heart, suddenly developing, conviction of the heart, and suddenly deciding, we don't want to be this anymore. We want to be better. And really, it's the power of decisions, which you don't have because of HSD anymore. But if you did that, you've got all the resources to help these people and to actually make TV shows in every country to see how, hey, let's talk to these people as we're saving them and say, where do you want to go? Where do you have family? Which part of the world? And then follow their lives where they're supported by these different countries, these 100,000 people, and be accountable, be transparent this way. And this will help you change as a species. It'll help you improve. Now, 100,000 people isn't a lot. It really isn't. And if a lot of them want to stay there, that's their choice. They can stay there. But again, if something else happens, like sea rise or volcano, no nation should have people risk their lives to go save them after, because it's their choice. And if people decide to save their lives after that at risk, don't make them heroes if they get killed, because they're saving people who didn't want to be saved. And if they die doing that, I don't think that should be defined as a hero. So let me recap. This is a time in history because there was a volcano involved at first, where as the information comes out, you're going to get a chance to decide who you want to be as a species. There is information about Antarctica out there, scientific information coming out very quickly. You could even turn to James Webb Telescope to go get notice about when this is going to break. And also you can decide that this is a sea rise level mass relocation of people event that everybody could coordinate with. Stop creating, movies where it's aliens that bring you together or that somehow the planet turns against you. This is an example of you as a species getting together and writing a different future path for your history to save these people and educate them that it's not going to go well. You don't go build elevation in the middle of the island. That's not what you do. Canada, come on. From one province to another province is actually for you illegal immigration. So that's how ridiculous you are. You should get in on this. There's plenty of places within Canada where people that maybe, it's not the kind of weather they expect, but again, shine as a species. You are from this planet. There are stores that sells clothes to keep you comfortable in all parts of Canada. So come on, grow up as a species already and do something about this. I'm tired of hearing, about your victim type personalities that are growing everywhere in all of you in every generation. It's really the pandemic, is you don't know how not to act as victims anymore.